Hi everyone, welcome. This is Dina. It is November the 23rd and it's cold. I have some hot tea here. I'm going to be sipping it as I stitch in just a few minutes, but before I get started stitching for the day, I wanted to share with you what I got in the mail. Mail call, I guess, is what Steph and Pam would say. But I mentioned recently that I had a very sweet person who watches my channel, and she's shared with me that she's sort of a quiet person and she doesn't comment often. And yet she wanted to do something to show me how much she appreciated the videos that we floss tubers take the time to do. And it's such a sweet gesture and such a thoughtful thing for someone to thank you for taking the time to do that. But she did a little more than say thank you. She sent me a gift certificate. And I'm going to share now what my gift certificate afforded me to enjoy. So the first thing I've got is a Curry Bata Curry pattern called All You Need Is Love. And I love it because it reminds me of the Beatles song, Help, I Need Somebody. And I think that's what this is referring to. And I just thought those were precious characters. And I only have one Valentine's pattern left to stitch in my stash. So I wanted to get this. So that's the first thing I got. The second thing that I got was a Mirabilia. I have wanted this piece. I've seen it stitched before. I thought it was just as precious as it could be. And there's another Christmas one I want called Christmas Fairy. This is Miss Christmas Eve by Nora Corbett. And I decided since I had a gift certificate, I was going to make myself happy and get it. And I did. Isn't she beautiful? Love, love that. So I've got that for my stash as well. Since it's Christmas time, I'm just in a Christmas mood. So this is Jingle Bells by Madame Lafee. And I got that pattern as well. Trying to give you enough time to see it. And then I collect Jim Shore, and I have a piece in my collection that actually looks like this. They have now turned that piece into a Mill Hill kit. And I have it. It comes complete with button and everything. And so I had this on my wish list and said, okay, it's got to go. So I put this in my cart as well. So those were the patterns that I was able to get. And then I decided I liked this color of fabric. It is a 25 count fabric, which I don't usually stitch on. It is a Lugana, and the colorway is Moss Green, M-O-S green. I think that's beautiful. It's probably looking a little gray to you, but it's there. It's really a moss green. And I thought 25 count, I've heard people say that is really good 1/1. And so I thought this might be pretty to do one of my Christmas pieces on and do it 1/1 so it's smaller. And so I'll be putting this in my stash and looking for the perfect gift. So thank you again for your kindness, your generosity. I appreciate it so very much. And was tickled to death to be able to go shopping and add these things to my stash. All right, I'm going to let you get back to stitching, and I hope to get to some stitching, and maybe I'll get to come back a little bit later tonight and show you what I was able to accomplish. Happy stitching, everybody. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. My name is Dina, and this is my channel about cross stitch. It is Wednesday, November 24th, and tomorrow is Thanksgiving. But today, I was really excited today because I got to talk to my sister Stephanie, and then once I finished that conversation with her, we had a great time. I was free for the day, so I had a very kind of late breakfast, just a little bowl of cereal, and then my husband and I went out for dinner tonight. And in the meantime, in addition to just a little bit of playtime with Coco, I got to stitch. So I'm happy to tell you I got in 416 stitches today on a WIP that I wanted to push to a goal. I had set a goal way back when I started working on my Wipgo 2022 that I would really like to work on the next season of my crabapple tree. I had finished this first one here, which is summer, and I kept thinking this was spring, but it's actually autumn. I was working on autumn, and while I was zooming this past week, I actually finished this whole border, and all I had left to do was this tree and the two birds on the inside. So on one of the Zoom meetups for the monthly magazine challenge group that Carolyn Zook set up for us, Candy was asking me if I was going to hit my goal to get this season finished on Crabapple tree so that I'd have it ready for my 2022 Wipgo board. And I told her, it doesn't look like it. I just don't think so. And then I got to looking at how far I had gotten on this stitching in the zooming that I had done this month and how many days I had left in this year. And I said, there's no reason why I couldn't try to do that. So Candy, thanks for the push because I got it done. And I'm going to share it with you. This is what it looks like. I think that is a very pretty piece. I love the fact that the borders are similar in that there's this little corner motif in each one of them, and they have birds in each one of them, but they're different. Each little bird is different, and that their borders are different that go more with the season. So anyway, there we have summer and autumn, and then down below on the pattern is spring and winter. So if you were reading it, you would have summer, autumn, winter, spring, or if you started down here, spring, summer, autumn, winter. So they kind of go in order depending on where you start. But this is the corner that I will be doing for our Wipgo, and I'm pretty excited about that. And now it's ready. Very, very good, right? I hope you're having a great day, and I hope you have a great Thanksgiving tomorrow if you celebrate. As I said, we're going to have a very quiet day. I'm looking forward to it. I hope to get lots of stitching done. I hope you do too. Happy stitching, everybody. Good night. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. This is Dina. Today's Thanksgiving in the U.S. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I am showing you my Long Dog sampler, and Pandemic is the name of it. And I'm working on it today for a prompt, and I have actually stitched 626 stitches today, and I am taking a break. I'm going to swap and maybe do another project later, but we're celebrating with dinner tonight, and I'm going to go down and get that ready. So I won't get to stitching again until after dinner. So I want to tell you what I got done today. When I started this project, this was here, this was here, and this little swirl was here, and a few stitches up here had started that portion. So I have added in the bird here, all of this, and I've added in this entire motif here, and I've taken this on down and started it down on that edge of the page. So this portion of the page across here is complete. And then this is almost complete. It's not quite half of that page, but it's getting there. I just wanted to do a little bit more on this one because I hadn't paid enough attention to it lately. And I had set a goal for myself on my 24 hours of cross stick to stitch 500 stitches in it if I could. And I'm so pleased that I got 626 in it today. Hope you are having a happy Thanksgiving if you're celebrating today. And if not, I hope you're having a great Thursday of stitching. Happy stitching, everybody. Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is Dina. It is November the 26th, which is Friday, and I'm here today to give you a brief update this morning. Today, I'm excited because this morning I finished my 24 hours of cross stitch November acrostic. I had done count stitches and I've been working on it all month, and this morning I finished the U in the word count, and that was the last one that I needed. I had already done the I for International Pandemic. I did that yesterday on Thanksgiving Day, and today I picked up my Autumn Bell Pull, and I chose U for that because I'm working on the letter U in the word Autumn Bell Pull. So I needed at least 200 stitches in it for another prompt, and so I went ahead and did 209 stitches today just to end the thread, and so that's where I've gotten to on the U. Good start on that, and I think this is wonderful because this is where I will pick it up for Wipgo next year, and my goal for Wipgo is to finish one letter. So that's just a really good start on it, and I will finish that next year during Wipgo. So that's exciting. Got that done. So now I want to tell you, there was a prompt that came out today, a pop-up challenge in one of the Facebook groups, and you were to pick your season, whatever season you wanted. It had to be in the word either spring, summer, autumn, or winter, because they each have 6 letters. And you were to stitch 200 stitches for each of the letters in whatever acrostic you pick. And it's only 1 week. It's a pop-up challenge. So I looked at it and I thought, well, I just finished my U. So I thought, well, I need to see if I can make that fit somehow. So I looked at the different words and I decided to do spring because I'm going to pick up one whip. It's only a week to get all this done. So I'm going to use one whip and try to make it fit every letter. But since I just finished working on the U, I wanted to see if I can make it fit. But of course, U doesn't fit in the word spring. However, the thread that I was using for this piece is a Gentle Arts. The red color is cherry bark. So in the word spring is the letter red, or the letter R. You can see where my mind is. So I used red cherry bark as my meaning for the letter R, and that got my R already finished in the word spring for today. So yay, got that done, posted it right away, and now I am going to do something unusual. I'm going to pick up Gathering Eggs, and I'm going to try to hit this acrostic in the next 2 days with Gathering Eggs. I've got S for Saturated with Color. I've got P for Pretty Dress. I've got I, because I've already done the R. I've got I for Inside a Border. And N for Neutral Space, because there's a whole portion at the bottom corner on the left-hand side that has no stitching. It's just neutral space. And of course, the name of the project is Gathering Eggs, so that's my G. I'm gonna do that because I think it's fun, and that hopefully can hit that in the next couple of days. And that will take me up to about the 27th or so of November. And then my plan for the rest of the month is to pull out my Crystal Christmas and go ahead and stitch those 10 hours. It may take me 2 or 3 days to get it done, but my hope is to have it done by December 1. And if I do that, then I have my month of December with all my wonderful new starts and everything clear to go, because that completes my Wipgo board that I can complete this year. There's one I know I'm not going to finish, and so I'm not stressing over it. I'm not trying to get the black out because I wouldn't be able to. So I'm going to do the other stitching that I want, and but when I get through with Crystal Christmas this month, that will hit every space on Wipgo, and I just won't hit the goal on the one on the Mermaid, even though I did work on it. So that was, I think, a wonderful result for my Wipgo board. I hope you're having a great Friday. I certainly am. My husband and I are about to go out for lunch, and then I'll be back and I'll get started on my acrostic and see if I can't complete it with one whip, gathering eggs. I'll talk to you soon. Happy stitching. Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Dina. It is Saturday night. It is November 27th, and I am here to tell you my stitching update for the day. I had mentioned that I was going to be working on a pop-up event this weekend, and the pop-up event was an acrostic, and I chose, you got to choose your season, and I chose spring. And I had hoped after doing the autumn bell pull letter that I did, which was for the R in spring for the red cherry bark thread, I wanted to do all the other 5 prompts on one whip, and that was gathering eggs. And this is what that Mirabilia looks like. I've been working on this off and on throughout the last couple of years with my friend Laura, and she's taking a break from stitching on it right now because she's been stitching on Christmas stockings for her grandchildren. So I haven't put a lot of pressure on it to do a lot of work. So it's just been progressing a little bit at a time. But because I want to finish this next year, and for my Wipgo board for next year, I'm going to put on there that my goal is a finish. I thought it might be fun to use this pop-up event to get a little more stitching in on this piece so that it will be easier to finish next year. So I thought I'll just do these 5 prompts, and however far I get with those 5 prompts, that'll just be that much closer to a finish when the time comes. So here is where I got to. Isn't that lovely? I'm so excited. I'll tell you about it on what I worked on and for the 5 prompts that I did. I actually tried to make them somewhat affiliated with the prompt, with the word and what I was using it for the letter. So for the S, I said I was going to work on something saturated in color, and I did. I worked on these really saturated dark green in this background and some of this really saturated blue-green in the dress. And then when it came time to do the gathering eggs itself, I worked on the basket and the actual eggs. And then on the part that said I was working on the prompt for the inside border for the I in spring, I actually worked on the border on both sides. And I am one color. I have one color left. It's actually only 4 stitches deep to get to the very bottom of this border. Isn't that exciting? I only stitched until I finished all of the prompts because that was my plan. And I probably won't be pulling out anything different tonight to work on. So I'm going to put this away, but I have a lot of progress today. I've pulled this whole border back down even with her sleeve or her tie on her dress. This border is almost down there as well, but what you can see is I've got the outline of the dress now here so that I can feel the border the rest of the way into there. And then I'll do the same thing over here. I'll come over and stitch that outline of her dress over on this side so I can pull that border down. And then all I have left is her dress. It is quite confetti heavy, almost as bad as that was up there. But what'll happen, if you'll notice, is that once you get the little dress done, once you get to her little feet, you only have this much background, and then all of this is left unstitched. So that's what I meant by negative space out there. So I think this is very doable to have a finish next year. I'm excited to have it on my Wipgo board. And so I'm going to put this away, and I will bring it back out to show when I go over my Wipgo progress, my Wipgo plans. I hope to do a video and share that with you soon. So that's part of it. So that's the bulk of what I wanted to share with you tonight. I have one more thing I want to show you. I recently got an email from a viewer asking if they could have my home address, that they wanted to send me a gift. And I have had comments back and forth with this viewer for a while, so I felt comfortable giving them my address. And I got a package today from them. And I just want to tell you how much I appreciate that. I was blown away, absolutely blown away. It's amazing to me that you can meet someone through these videos online and just have conversations through, you know, comments on the video and then maybe email, and you can actually form a friendship. And when someone writes me and tells me that they like my videos, that is such a compliment. But then when someone actually takes time to put together a gift for you or to make something for you, it's amazing. When I decorated the tree, the Christmas tree, and put my cross-stitch ornaments on it, they're not all mine. They're mine, but they're not all the ones I've stitched. Several of them have been stitched by some of you and gifted to me, and I think of you every year, and I'm grateful again every year that you did that for me. So when I opened up this package, I had a lovely card in there, and I had a beautiful piece of fabric. But let me tell you something, they can stitch beautifully, because the other thing I had in my package was this. Isn't that beautiful? I don't know if you can see how gorgeous that stitching is, but that is the smoothest, neatest stitching. It's beautiful. Now, I opened this tonight. My husband was out with Coco walking, and I went outside as soon as he came in, and I said, you have to come in and see something that I got today. And when I showed it to him, he just looked at it really closely, and he said, that's beautiful. He said, that's really pretty. He said, that looks like a lot of work. He gets it. So I will tell you, I'm still amazed at how gorgeous it is. These stitches are absolutely beautiful. But more than that, the person who did this for me is beautiful. That was a beautiful gesture. Thank you so much. I've put it on my desk so I can see it every day. And I just love it. Absolutely love it. So thank you. Thank you very much for thinking of me and for taking the time to do that. Oh my goodness. So unless my plans change, you know, that can always happen, but unless they change, tomorrow I'm pulling out Crystal Christmas, and I'm going to try to get, if I can, at least 5 of the 10 hours that I owe my Wipgo board for that. And that'll be my final square, I think, until the last 2 are called tomorrow or tonight. Then I can check them off because I've already done them, and I will be finished with my Wipgo board and I can put it up. So that'll be fun. That'll be absolutely fun. Happy stitching, everybody. Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Dina. This is a very special episode today. I am going to be going through my Wipgo board for 2021, and I'm going to show you where I'm at on all of my current whips that are on the Wipgo board, and then I'll show you my new starts that I've planned for Wipgo, and hopefully the fabric that I've got paired with them. I hope I've done that with every one of them, but if not, I'll show you what I have. And I think I pretty much got it nailed down. I'll look at it one more time, you know, before the first of the year. But I wanted to go ahead and film this and put it up as soon as I could, because everybody's starting to share their Wipgo plans, and I'm so ready for it. I'm excited about it, so we'll go from there. I'm going to show mine in the order that they wound up being assigned, so 1 through 25 in that order, but they were randomly assigned. So the first thing that I want to share with you is my crabapple tree. Crabapple tree is one that I just recently worked on because I wanted to make sure that I could work on 1 full season in the coming year. And so I recently finished up this block right here. And so now I can start on either one of these. Probably will come back over and start on that one because I like to work my way across that way. And I do have this on a roller frame, so it'll be easy just to roll it up and it'll be right there ready for me to go. So I'll just remind you of where I'm at on this one. These are the first 2 seasons of the crabapple tree. Again, this is on a beautiful linen. It's a 32 count linen that was hand dyed by my friend Marissa, who then gifted this to me with the pattern. So it's a very special whip indeed. My goal for 2022, as I said, is to complete a 3rd season. So that's number 1. Number 2 is also a whip. It's one you've been seeing for a while because it's a restart, and it's the Nativity. And this is what it's supposed to look like when it's done. And I did work on it again recently. Same thing, trying to get it ready for my Wipgo goal for next year. And my Wipgo goal is to finish the angel. So I had worked my way down to where you see Joseph's head here, and Mary's head is starting, I think, right here. So his arms are the next thing I have to do, and that's still part of him. So that'll meet that goal, help meet that goal. But my idea is to finish up the entire angel figure in next year for 2022. All right, number 3. Number 3 is going to be my birthday start. So this will actually be started by the time Wipgo begins. It's called Enchanted Alphabet. I'm sorry for the glare. I'm losing the light today, and so I've tried to add some lighting for you. And it's glaring a bit on the plastic. I apologize. Anyway, that's my Enchanted Alphabet. You guys voted on that, and I've got it fully kitted. And if you'll recall, I picked a different color to stitch it on. I picked a beautiful green color. It's a lovely color called Heritage. It's a picture of this plus fabric. And look at that beautiful modeling. I just think that's going to be really, really pretty with the colors in this piece. And so I will start it for my birthday. I won't necessarily get a whole lot done on that day. It's just a birthday start. But that makes it a whip, and so it's counting as a whip on my Wipgo for 2022. I did set a goal for that, and that would just be 10 hours in the year. Hopefully I'll get more than that, but 10 hours is a good solid amount of time when you have a lot of whips, and so that'll just give me an incentive to get going with it. So that is number 3. Number 4 is one you've been watching, Mermaid. This is a beautiful Teresa Winslow pattern. I really love it. I think it's gorgeous. This picture does not do it justice. I can tell you that already just from working in that border. The border looks fairly pretty when you just look at it, but it's gorgeous when you see it in thread. So I have this being stitched on antique lace, 32 count. And here is, well, let me show you the right side. How about that? Here it is. This is where I got to most recently. Now, this year, this is the one goal on my Wipgo 2021 I'm not going to make, and that is this entire medallion and whole side, or this whole side of the border, would have to be completed for me to hit that goal, and that's not going to happen. I've got lovely plans for December, and I'm not going to put them aside and stitch on this the whole time. So I'm pretty proud of the fact that I should wind up hitting all but one goal on my Wipgo. So I learned from that experience. And for 2022, the goal on this piece is going to be hours. It's going to be 10 hours on this piece, not a border, or not, something like that that's really a lot of stitching that I might not get to do in a year's time. So that is number 4. Number 5 is another new start. This one's a unique one. It's my first twin peak primitive, and it is, it's going to be an Easter piece. And this is what the pattern looks like. Has a beautiful lamb, and then there's a little package that it's carrying and a little chickadee sitting on top of it. And it says, "Time for New Beginnings." It's really pretty. It says Promises of Easter series, so it must be a series of things. But anyway, I thought this would be pretty on some very unusual looking fabric. This is linen. It's the Tin Roof Gingham. This is 28 count, and I think that's going to be lovely and will look quite different for an Easter piece. So I really like that. I think that's going to be pretty. Okay, you may notice some harsh breaks in here because after each of the 5 that I'm going to show you, I'm stopping the camera and I'm putting everything that I've just shown you away to make room for the next 5 because I just have piles here on the floor and it would take me forever to find everything while you sat and waited, and I don't want to do that. So number 6 is by the Scarlet House. It's called Penny Pumpkin. This is going to be a new start, and this was gifted to me by my friend Melody. She had finished it and she was coming to stitch with me that day, and she just brought it with her, and I'm doing that on a beautiful blue mystery fabric. Well, it says Winterbrook, 32 count Winterbrook Lugana. Isn't that pretty? I think it's got little splotches of dark blue here and there, so I'll look at it and decide, where I want to put my pumpkin. So that'll be number 6 on my Wipgo board. Number 7 is another whip, and it is called Gathering Eggs. And you just saw it because I was getting it ready for Wipgo. I was trying to get it closer, if I could, to being ready because my goal for Wipgo on this one is to finish it. So this is Gathering Eggs. And I put a little over 1,100 stitches in it this weekend. And this is where I got to on this one. I'm gonna have a lot of fabric left over to make other smalls with. But I think in my last video, I probably will put this one up by itself. I mentioned that I was only 4 stitches away from the bottom of the border. Isn't that awesome? It was just a color change, and I had hit the number of stitches I needed in my prompt, so I went ahead and put it away for next year. So that's where I'll be starting at when I pick it up for Wipgo. Okay, number 8. Number 8 is a new start for me. It's a cute little whimsical piece. I think it'll just be a lot of fun. And it's in a precious bag from Garan. Tote bag, isn't that precious? I love it. So this one is just called, it's by My Big Toe. And it's called Dog Hair. And I had it in a smaller bag and it was bending, so I moved it to my new bag. Just says Dog Hair, just another specialty fiber. And if you remember, recently I showed you some dog buttons that my husband helped me prepare. 2 of them are going to go on here. And this calls for little buttons of dog biscuits, but I've got a little doggy bone button left over from another pack of buttons that I'm probably going to use for that instead. So I'm just pulling things out of stash, and I have got to look at these 2 fabrics when it's time, but it'll be one of these 2. This is a 28 count off-white linen. Don't know, it's a remnant that I got off a freebie table at a retreat. And then this one is the remnant of an antique ivory cashel linen 28 count. They're both 28 count. That's what the pattern calls for, and I kind of want it the size of the pattern. So I'm using my 28 count up on this one. But it'll be one of those 2. I'm going to pull the threads and see which looks best on them and go from there. And then number 9 is my patriotic sampler. You've seen it recently because I completed the row I was working on, because my new goal for next year is another row. And it'll be a biggie because that row will include this heart and these 2 words here, and it'll come over and get this motif here. It's kind of hard to split them up, but I felt like that would be a good row. And then this will be another row right across here, which is going to be a really busy row. But if you recall, I'm not putting this border at the bottom. I'm stopping mine right here, and then I'm going to put initials in there in the year. So if I can get this row right here done, then the last row I have pretty much finishes the piece. So who knows, might push it to a finish next year, just depends on how things are looking, how they're, how they go. So I recently shared this one with you, but let me go ahead and share it with you again, because that's what I'm trying to do, let you see where I'll be starting on everything. So here's where I'm at on it. Finish that row. So that brings me to number 10. Number 10 is a new start. Yay! This is called Thankful Quaker. It's got buttons in it, so that might obscure your view a little bit, but that's okay. I think you can forgive me for that. Anyway, this is Thankful Quaker. You can see the little buttons right here, but it's from Bent Creek. I think it's beautiful, and I actually think this fabric is very, very close. Anyway, this is Silvery Moon, 32 count Lugana, and I think that is going to be a beautiful, there you go, beautiful piece. And I'm looking forward to starting it, and that'll be one of my Thanksgiving pieces for the coming year. and that's number 10. So I'm going to pause it again, and I'll get all these put away, and I'll be right back. All right, let's look at the third group of 3. That's going to be started off by number 11, and this is a Valentine's new start, and it's Will You Be My Valentine? And this is what it looks like. It's a thistles pattern. There we go. Try to get that glare out of there. I went ahead and gave up and turned my light on up there. I apologize for the brightness back there, but it's the only way to get you to be able to see anything. And I'm just doing this on a beautiful blush. It's a Lugana. It's a 32 count Lugana. But I think that's going to look really pretty on that and matches what the picture looks like anyway to me. They called for an R&R blend, which I did not have, so I substituted the blush, and I think it's going to be great. It's in my Valentine's project bag. The next one is number 12, and it's one that you've been watching me work on. It's called Dogwood Lace. It is a Rosewood Manor pattern. It's monochromatic. It's my red sampler right now. And I recently worked on the corner. I had to think which way it went. This is the direction that it's supposed to be in. So for my goal, I've not been giving you my goal, so I apologize for that. This dogwood lace I want to work on for 10 hours. And on the previous Will You Be My Valentine, that has a cart in it. And I'm going to stitch the cart as my new start. So again, this one is just an additional 10 hours on this. Now, number 13 is the one that was in competition for my birthday start, Miracle of Every Day. And it was just probably about 5 or so votes less than the Enchanted Alphabet. And so I decided to put it on my Wipgo board as a new start, and that way I had a win-win situation. I got to do them both. So this is out of a magazine. It's one I've had for a very long time, and I'll show you the front of it again. It is Country Stitch, and it is a April 1991. These magazines hang around a long time. And so you may recall this is a beautiful sampler, but the picture is just terrible because it hides so much of it. But it's got lovely strawberries around the border and carrots and cabbages and things of that nature. And I just love the colors. I think it'll go absolutely beautiful in my home. And so again, that is a new start, and I'm going to try to get 10 hours on it sometime in the year once it's called. Now, number 14 has a little bit of a story. Number 14 was one of the whips that I recently finished, and it was to finish it, but I've already done that. So I just went in and put a new start of my choice because I like having a little bit of freedom to throw something else in that I might not have thought about. So number 15 is my chasse à l'œuf, which means egg hunt, and this is what it looks like. It is a collection tra-la-la pattern, and if you'll recall, I decided to do mine on a very interesting, beautiful fabric. This is Mixed Berry, 32 count Lugana, and I think those colors are gonna absolutely be beautiful on there. So that's going to be number 15. Number 16 is another new start. Autumn in the Village is going to be a very interesting piece. It's mostly houses, and beautiful trees. It's probably going to be a very long-term project. I don't see this one going very quickly. For one thing, this is Stoney Creek. And if you know what that means a ton of back stitching and lots of color changes. But I've had this in my stash for a very long time. Oh, I don't even know if it has the year on it. It doesn't. Not easily anyway. But I just was so attracted to the colors in it. And then when I found this fabric, this is a hand-dyed, it's only on one side, so it's probably printed. And if you can see that, it has little tiny, almost confetti in fall colors that I think will just be beautiful with this piece. And I've counted it once. I'm going to count it again before I start it because I think it's going to be tight. But I think it's gorgeous. So that's going to be my start number. This box number 16, whenever that's called. It'll be funny if all these new starts get called right together, you know, and that my whips just languish there. Oh, that would be sad, wouldn't it? Okay, number 17 is one I've been working on. All right, here we go. You've seen this one recently too because I worked on it for a prompt. And I actually got that whole pot stitched. So here is where I'm at on it now. And believe it or not, this one is actually slated that I want to finish it next year. I think I can. It's, you know, that fence down front is going to be pretty intense. But other than that, it won't be quite so bad. So that's where I'm at on this one. I would have liked to have gotten a little more done on it before the end of the year, but I may come to that if I actually wind up getting my 10 hours on Crystal Christmas and still have any stitching time at all. Okay, then number 18 is Halloween Quaker. I'm really excited about number 18 because it's so pretty, and I'm late to the party on this one. Isn't that beautiful? This is by Lila's Studio, and I have this field stone. It's a color in cotton fabric, and I'm going to put this on that, and I think it will be beautiful. And I've noticed that some of these grays may blend in really well with that, so I may have to change up a couple of colors, or I may have to change my fabric, but I'm going to do a floss toss before I start it because I don't want to get into trouble with it. So, but there's Halloween Quaker. Okay, number 19. Pandemic. You've seen the pattern. I'm not going to drag it out and show it to you, but this is where I'm at. And my goal will be to finish this whole page here. I worked on it recently trying to get a little more of it done so that's doable for me. And then I will hope to finish that page when it is called in 2022. Okay, the last one on that row on my grid is number 20. And number 20 is Spring Quilt. It's a new start. And my goal on it is to do the top border. And that may be pretty aggressive because it's got 2 medallions in it. And it is a Stoney Creek. But this is just words in here. So you'd have 2 pretty heavy stitching corners, and then you've got words in the middle. So I think that's doable. And I'm just doing it on a beautiful ivory Lugana. It's called Lugana Cream because I think that matches that beautifully. And so that's what I'm going to do it on. I do have all 4 of these seasons of quilts, and I plan on doing all 4 of them In fact, this is them. I can show them to you together. So there's your spring, the summer, and then fall and winter. So there's spring, summer, fall, and winter. Aren't those beautiful? And my thought would be to frame it in such a way on something that, you know, that I could change it out every season and use the same holder or frame or finishing technique, you know, to do that with. So I'll pause now and put this away, and I'll be right back. Okay, let's get to that last row of my Wipgo chart. The first one on that row is number 21, and it is my autumn bell pull. I had finished the letter A, and I've gotten started on that letter U, and so my goal is to finish that letter U, that whole letter. And it's on there twice, and I hate stitching things twice, but at least it's not a terrible one to stitch. So if I've got to repeat something, it's not too terribly bad. Number 22 is another interesting square because it was also going to be one that I had finished. So instead now I put for number 22 to pull out whatever whip is closest to a finish, put in 10 hours on it, or put it to a finish, whichever one comes first. Number 23, Winter Quaker. Been working on this for a while, and I just recently did 10 motifs on this thing. I have one left to finish an entire row right here. And then once I get that in there, I'll come back over here and start these big things. So I was very smart, and I just put on here one large motif. So I may stitch all the things leading up to it, but I want to just make sure I get that big motif right there done. That will be my goal for next year for Wipgo. So here is my current piece in case you didn't see it recently. Here is where that last little thing will go. And then I start over here with a huge motif and we go on across. Okay, my next one is a new start, and I'm pretty excited about it. It's called Buttons and Beads Trio, and I'm calling it there because it's 3 separate buttons and beads kits. They are Halloween themed. I've shown this to you before, so it shouldn't be anything you hadn't seen if you've watched my channel. But I am doing this on a woodland moss fabric. So I want to show that to you because it's beautiful. And yes, it has a little bit of a purplish tint, but it is quite gray to the eye as well. And on this fabric, I am going to put 3 button and beads kits. So this one is the Haunted Mansion. And then right next to it will become the Haunted Laboratory. I think it's funny because Frankenstein's going in the door. And then the last one is the Haunted Library. These I found on a freebie table at a retreat. And I thought, those are just too cute. I'm going to have to get those. I never, for a long time, didn't think about putting them together. And then I saw Miss Oh So Crafty do her entire Mill Hill Christmas village. And I thought, that's what I'm going to do with those 3 that I have. So they'll go this way and on my fabric so that I have plenty of length for that. But I think it's a pretty color. I think it'll go really nice alone there. I'm not going to put it on the paper, on the perforated paper. I'm going to put it on the fabric. Number 25 is another whip. It's one you've heard me talk about, but you haven't seen it lately because I haven't worked on it in a very long time. Part of that reason is I put it in timeout. I actually put it inactive until I finished Giggles in the Snow because it's a Mirabilia as well, and I felt like I already had a big Mirabilia winter piece, you know, on the go. So I retired it for a little while. I just kind of put it on vacation. And now that Giggles in the Snow is finished, I'm ready to pull it back out. So this is Giggles. This is Crystal Christmas. And if you watch Tina Stitches, you will see she is almost finished with this. She's down to her final beading on it, and it's beautiful. I have ordered this fabric a long time ago from Silk Weaver, and it's a gorgeous fabric, and I am so thrilled with it. I was looking for the name of it, which I don't think is here anymore. Anyway, but I had a small start on it, so it is a whip. There's the top of that Christmas tree. First time I shared it, I said it was a mountain. I didn't even realize it's not a mountain in the background, it's a tree. Someone told me that. That's what happens when you're stitching so close to it, you can't really even see the big picture. But that's what I'll be starting with. And it'll be on this beautiful fabric. And I think this piece, with all the beautiful purples and yellows, is gonna be gorgeous on this piece of fabric. So that is my Wipgo 2022. I actually added up at one point how many were whips and how many were new starts, and it was almost 50-50, which is great. I think that's wonderful. I have about 12 whips I'm carrying forward, and I'm real excited that that number is as small as it is, considering all the starts I've had in the last couple of years. I will be having a great December as well. I've shared that with you before, so I won't put that in here because this is really meant to be my Wipgo video. But I'll try to give it to you on an update coming up as just a reminder of what I'm going to do, and share that with you. So thanks for letting me take a good deal of your time. You might notice that there was a whip, a recent start that's not on my Wipgo board, and that is Hawk Run Hollow. And I am going to show it to you simply because that means you've had a whip parade as well. So here it is. I work on Hawk Run once a month with a group of stitchers who are all working on a Hawk Run Hollow. And once I started this at retreat, at Julie McConnell's retreat, I've worked on it at 2 Saturday meetups since then with the Hawk Run group. And I'm excited about it. It's going pretty well. I'm enjoying it. And I may work on it some in between as well. That's perfectly okay. You're not supposed to not work on it. The main thing is that when you come to the group, you work on it so that you always get to touch it at least once a month, which is nice. So there's my last whip. So now you guys have had a whip parade in addition to my Wipgo for next year. I hope you'll do Wipgo with us. I think that Jason Marie does a great job, and I'm excited to start next year with it, and can't wait to see what numbers get called for January. So I'll let you get back to what you were doing. I hope you enjoyed my Wipgo video, and I hope to see yours. Happy stitching, everybody. What are you doing, huh? Hey. Hey, you gonna help me do my video? You gonna help me do my video? Can you look at the camera? There you go. Hey, darling. What you got there? Is that your dragon? You got your dragon? Can I play with the dragon? Can I play with it too? I'll come get it. I'll come get it. Let me come get the dragon. Ah, I see.
It's your toy. It's your toy to chew.